What's going on, everybody? Cali Death Podcast back once again, episode 109. I'm here with two resident homies. By the way, my name is Anthony. I'm your host, and I'm here with Casey and Joseph. Joseph starting it off with us tonight. This is awesome to me. This hasn't happened in a while, and I love it. He is taking the place of Joel tonight because Joel's not going to be here. But what's going on, Casey? And what's going on,
Joseph?
Joseph?
They fired Joel, so
Yo.
Yeah.
And thanks for being here with me tonight, my resident homies. And tonight we are with John Matos from Abiotic. There, I did it.
Rushed, dude. One take.
What's up, dude? How are you, John?
Doing well, guys. Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah, dude. Real quick before we get into anything, we should do some plugs. Did we get the plug things ready?
Oh yeah. All right, dude. Fucking ready. Let's do it.
BattleforgeCoffee.com. Exhumed is actually out on tour right now too. So Mike Hamilton's out hitting the skins out in your area somewhere. So if you're wanting to go to a sick show, go see Exhumed, and also buy Battleforge Coffee to help them out in the double way because Mike's part of the band. But yeah, our homies from Deeds of Flesh started that company. They've been doing it for a while now. It's good coffee. They got swag. Holiday season. Maybe you could still get it in time. As always, we have CaliDeathPodcast.BigCartel.com. No merch right now, but stay tuned. Very, very soon, we're going to have something to talk about probably next week.
We have a merch drop, imminent merch drop.
Yep.
So
nice.
Save some money.
I know it's a little late for the holiday season, and we probably won't get to you in time. Maybe it will. No, it won't. But either way, you can. It'll be amongst the packages you get for the.
It'll be there for Valentine's Day, dude.
Yeah, there you go. But John, anything you want to plug?
First off, I didn't realize that Mike had a coffee company. We toured with them back in like 2013, 2014 or something. And I like adore Mike. He's a man.
Oh, yeah, dude.
So first I need to try the coffee. Second, so do you, people watching.
Exactly.
Mike's still killing it. He certainly is. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure we're going to talk about stuff here through the podcast, but absolutely check out Abiotic on all the things, streaming, Instagram, Facebook, all the fun stuff.
I'm sure it's on Bandcamp and there we go. We lost you for a second. So start again. What we missed a little chunk of that.
Oh, my bad.
Anthony, I didn't miss anything. Maybe it's your internet.
Oh shit. It is my internet, huh? Yeah. I told you my shit was acting a little funky in the beginning.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Anthony,
I'll try to ignore that.
If you want to restart the sign back in, we can have John keep going.
Okay, cool. I'll do that.
At John, continue, sir.
There was a question that was asked, and I don't remember what it was.
Oh, just I mean, the question just was, where to check out plugs for stuff that you have, and you started going on about.
Oh yeah,
Abiotic.
Exactly.
Which is the fucking sickest shit. I just
listened
to the new record.
So much.
Fuck yeah, you guys are rock.
Thank you. So we we re-released our 2011 EP and added a couple songs on it. It's called Universal Plague Mutation. So it's just a re-release of like some OG songs. And we added a new song and re-recorded Vermo Sapien. If you're a fan of the band, imagine you know that song. And we gave it the H string treatment because we're doing a ton of new songs and shit in H string. So that is, you can get that on Big Cartel. You can get that at the Artisan Era store, I believe, which is Night Shift merch. We put out a record, Ikigai, in the beginning of 2021, and same places. You can get that, Artisan Era, and Night Shift merch for like vinyl and all that cool shit. And then we've got indie merch store if you're into like Dragon Ball Z ripoff designs, which I am obviously, and a bunch of other cool shit on there.
Nice. Yeah, man. That new record, I just was listening to it right before the episode, and I believe I had checked it out when it came out last year, but not since. And it was blowing me away how good it was. I was
thank you, man.
extremely impressed. And I'm about to go down the Abiotic rabbit hole, which for me, I usually like do right after the episode. Some people would say maybe you should before, but for me, it's like the start of the journey. So,
Joseph, are you hearing like a crackling sound?
yeah, what's
I'm
up?
hearing
It might be like your cable or something, maybe.
Yeah,
Is it you? Let me just give it a little wiggle.
But yeah, I appreciate that, man. I mean, that people still listen to music that I wrote when I was 20 years old. It's like 13 years ago now. Still humbled, still kind of a mind blowing thing. So yeah, definitely hit me up after the podcast and after you kind of go down your wormhole there and let me know what you think, because I feel like each record is pretty different. Still hopefully like kind of has that our signature sound, but the last three we put out, I feel like are like there's some pretty stark contrast.
Yeah,
it might be going kind of in the stylistic direction that I'm more likely to kind of latch onto. But I remember when you guys kind of came out around early 2010s, like I remember digging it back then too. I remember thinking, oh, it's cool that there's a band. Well, where are you guys out of? I was gonna say somewhere on the East Coast, but
so we're originally out of South Florida.
I wanted to say Florida. Okay, I was just checking.
Yeah, hold on. I would be remiss. Carrie Gear, I don't know if he's a regular watcher, but
I don't know who that is at all.
He plays guitar for Son of Aurelius. If you've ever checked them out, if you haven't, highly recommend that you listen to that before you listen to anything.
So yes, Carrie is actually in Odious Mortem now. He's we write a lot of music together. Yeah, he's
fuck yeah.
We basically, like, back in the old day, actually the Son of Aurelius stuff was called, well, but way before it was Son of Aurelius, it was like Mandrake. We had this whole like kind of project, and I was actually playing guitar with him like way back early 2000s or mid to late 2000s. But Carrie is like the coolest guy in the world, and Son of Aurelius is the dopest. I love that band, and
absolutely,
Carrie's he's a fantastic gentleman. I like him a lot. Hi, Carrie.
Carrie gave me some very good advice when I was when I was very green to all this shit, and was doing what a lot of people do now, which is just like hitting the pavement, right? And just like using social media to try and like reach people, people that you look up to, and like, hey, just like what works and what doesn't. And something he told me I'll never forget is he said polite persistence. Be persistent, don't be an asshole about it. And that has stuck with me since like I guess cool, probably like 2012 or something. So
hell yeah.
What's up, Carrie? You're awesome, dude. Your videos lately are really sick too. He's playing Under a Western Sun stuff, and I think even the first record stuff too, and getting it out there again, which is cool to see. And I noticed there is an active Son of Aurelius Instagram page. So take that for what you will.
Well, also check out All Room. Like, so that's like our new band. I played drums on it. Carrie's it's all like rock, kind of like metal, progressive stuff. And Riley sang on it, and it's all like, it's not like metal stuff. Yeah, so it's gonna come out. We do have an Instagram page for, but we recorded with Zach Orin this last summer. It was like super sick, and yeah. So Carrie is like my favorite person, dude, musically to work with, pretty much, actually. Yeah.
Cool. And I'm here thinking I'm educated. You guys are like,
oh no, I'm just saying you brought up Carrie. He's like, I love that person. So just gotta. I can't say enough about Carrie.
Same. He's been like,
yeah, we all feel that way.
Cool. Great supporter of Abiotic, so I appreciate it.
Fuck yeah.
That was a tangent for a question that if y'all smoke as much weed as I do, I don't remember where we started. But
yeah, well, we're wondering where Anthony went. So basically, all right, dude. Well, I'm gonna be Anthony here and go. So dude, so what we do on this podcast is we like to find out, like, what's your past? Like, let's take us back in time, dude. Like, we're gonna find your dimension, man. Like, take us back to when like music, like, you know, hit for you. Like what was your earliest memory of like music being like a big deal for you? Like way back.
Ooh, that's a pretty good question. So I grew up with young parents. So my parents both had me when they were 20. And the question was like, where's the band from, and kind of all that stuff. So we're from South Florida. I'm born and raised in Miami.
Oh, cool, man.
So my parents were very much like 20-year-old Miami folks, like very much into like the dance and like rap scene. I come from Cuban and Puerto Rican family as well, so a lot of like Spanish music and all that fun stuff too. So music was always a thing. Early on when I was a kid, it was just like listening to whatever, you know, was on the radio, whatever my parents listened to. Then when I got into middle school is where I kind of met some people that like listened to different music and got
but wait. So take us like way back to like your first memory though. Like
first memory.
Sorry, but like, you know, it's like, but like what's like as a kid, like
no
music,
gaps whatsoever.
Yeah, dude. No, we want to go way back in time.
Okay.
So
I remember, if you guys remember, like I don't know how old the oldest guy is here, but if you guys remember,
that's
like
me, dude. I'm almost 40.
Okay, so you'll probably remember those cards that used to come in the mail that were just like check a box off, and each CD that we send you will be like a penny.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
But they get your credit card and like something happened. I don't know. My dad did like a bunch of that shit. So we just had like a bunch of old school like sick rap stuff. So we had like every Eminem record. It's like Biggie and Tupac. And
then, like, yeah, dude. Awesome.
Like the South Florida guys, like Two Live Crew and like
2 Live Crew is dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're from South Florida?
Or yeah.
Okay, interesting.
So a lot of that stuff, you know, Spanish records, like, you know,
is that Publishers Music? Sorry, I totally interrupted you. Is it Publishers House Music? Is that the one?
Yep,
dude, for sure, man.
Sick drummer. Cool. I wonder if that's
Ian.
That's Ian.
Okay, what's up, Ian?
He was just on. Yeah, dude. Sick. Ian rules.
Hell yeah. But yeah, so those are like my earliest memories of music. It's like my mom cleaning the house on the weekend and just blasting like Mark Anthony and kind of that stuff. My first concert, I went to a like the popular radio station, still is, I'm sure, like Power 96 in Miami, and it was like Will Smith headlining when Welcome to Miami came out.
Damn,
pretty sick.
That's pretty sick.
All right, Joseph, you take over. I'm gonna call
yeah. I was trying to remember the first time I ever saw like live hip hop or like MC music or anything like that, and I can't think of like an early memory like that. So
yeah, mine are few and far between too. You guys are making me do some digging. That's why I was like, let me get to when I started playing guitar, because that's like where I remember.
Yeah, dude. Well, that's usually the next question. So yeah, I mean, yeah, guitar and then metal too. Like, did guitar come first or then?
Yeah. So metal came first. I started like skateboarding probably like 5th or 6th grade, and that's when I started like hanging out with people who listen to like different kinds of music. And that's
dude, me too.
New metal was the thing, and like I'm super not ashamed. I'm not like my first band was Deicide or whatever. Like, no, like I, you know, grew up not in that environment, and someone like put on some Linkin Park songs, and I was like, oh, it was like right when Hybrid Theory came out. I was like, oh, this is pretty sick. And that was like the first metal album that like I had my mom. I was like, hey, take me to Specs Music or whatever. I need to go buy this record. So I bought Hybrid Theory, and then middle school met a buddy who ended up being like my closest friend through middle school. And as I was like trying to find myself, you know, in those early formative years, and he was someone who like was into music. He played bass. We hung out a ton, listening to like, you know, what was popular then, which was like System of a Down and the new metal craze. I was a big Mudvayne fan, so Mudvayne was
yes, sir.
right when
I'm
LD50
back.
shit.
Bingo
Oh,
card.
wait. Tell Professor which album you were talking about.
Oh, LD50.
Oh yeah, that one, Professor.
We were talking all about hip hop before you came. Anthony took a leave of
I missed it.
absence for a minute with his
Yeah,
computer.
is it better though? Am I all good? Like things are good. All right.
Like
Okay.
Anthony is like the most into hip hop.
You're not going to miss a mention of Mudvayne on this podcast. You have to be here for it.
That's 2 weeks in a row. So you're into hip hop and shit too?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm sorry for the listeners. We're gonna have to rewind a little bit.
Wait, hold on. Isn't it the anniversary of the Chronic today?
It is. I was gonna say
30 years. 30 years
today.
Oh yeah, 2092, right? Yeah, right, dude. Fuck yeah, dude.
Whoa.
The original Chronic is like the fucking shit, dude.
It's the shit, dude.
So 2001.
That's a really good record.
I love, yeah.
That was on rotation.
Okay. So you got to give me the abridged version real quick. You grew up where?
Grew up in Miami, Florida.
Okay.
Abridged version. Grew up in Miami, Florida. My first live concert was Will Smith on the Big Willie Style tour.
This is all stuff you already mentioned?
It is.
Okay. All right.
And my parents very young and just very much like not into rock or metal at all, just like hip hop, Miami dance club music and Spanish music, so like salsa and like all that cool shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then so listening to like Eminem, the early Eminem records with my dad, and like Biggie and Tupac.
How old are you?
At that time, probably.
Well, I'm just saying it now in general.
How old am I now? 33.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Pops was already into some Eminem. So what year was that he was feeding you that stuff?
Oh, that was like whatever year the Slim Shady LP came out.
98 or something like that.
We bought it and I was listening to it.
Okay. 97, 98, I think it was.
Yeah. So between like, that's when I think I started getting into music, like 8, 9, 10. And then middle school is where like met a buddy, was skateboarding and shit. I started skateboarding, and that's where I found like the new metal that was going on.
Yeah, I came in when you were talking about Linkin Park and all that. Yeah.
So you're caught up there.
Cool.
Then met a friend. His name is Travis. Still talk to him. He played a bass, and we were hanging out one day, and he was trying to learn Du Hast by Rammstein. He's like, dude, you should play guitar. And I was like, I should play guitar. So my 13th birthday, I went to like a local music store, just like mom and pop owned. Asked for we ended up pulling off the shelf a $79 electric guitar. It was called a Discovery. Never seen one ever again. And got like a 15 watt amp, and that's what I ripped on for as long as I could.
Mm-hmm. Was it just were you just mimicking what you heard, or did you get lessons, or what was it?
I maybe took like 1 or 2 lessons from the guy teaching at that local shop, but he was more like a classical guy with like, he had fingernails and everything, and was like kind of doing some different stuff. And I just wanted to like learn the songs that I was listening to. So just like learned how to read tabs and was kind of just doing it that way. And then eventually, like probably within like a year or two, met some friends who were way advanced. It was like twin brothers that were like very advanced at guitar and bass. They both played guitar and bass.
And at what age was this?
This was 13, 14. So probably getting to like, but yeah, between 13 and 14. And then they were like, dude, if the song doesn't have a guitar solo, it fucking sucks. It's awful. What are you listening to? And that's when I got into like shredder music, guitar player music, listening to like Dream Theater and Symphony X and Paul Gilbert and Steve Vai and Yngwie Malmsteen. So like Malmsteen was the first guitar player that I heard, and I was just like, fuck, I need to learn how to do that. How does this guy do that? And then, but still balancing with like, I got super into like classic rock too. So I was like a huge like Led Zeppelin fan, and still I am. But like Zeppelin and Hendrix and all that stuff too. Because I was lucky that those guys like were able to appreciate that shit because they kind of knew where the shredder guitar players like came from. So like guys like Jimmy Page and all those awesome special shredders of the 80s and shit too. But that's where I kind of got into like elitist like prog snob thing for a few years.
I was just gonna ask you, and it kind of goes with that real quick. I was gonna say, so when you would listen, would you just be waiting for the solo all the time? Yeah.
And then like also like couldn't do bands with like screaming vocals or whatever.
Yeah.
You know the guys. It's like when you hear your first Dream Theater song and like you're suddenly a different person.
First of all, prog snob is a super catchy. I like that. It's good. But also that meme that was going around like last week or something, like you wait 6 minutes till the good part, like in a prog song or something like that.
The prog fans be like,
yeah,
the good part's in 6 minutes.
Hang tight.
I remember that kind of like period where like you're not quite into death metal or whatever scream vocals, but you want everything else, the heavy riffs. So you end up listening to like Nevermore and like Symphony X and those bands. And then there's just like one day where something switches and then it's like At the Gates or fucking whatever. Yeah.
For me,
real quick, I want to just add to that I've never done in 109 episodes with how many people have talked about how the death metal vocals or the extreme vocals or aggressive vocals were something they couldn't get into right away. I can't find it. Every time it's brought up on the show, I go back into myself and I can't find where I was put off by the vocals. I think I liked hearing Chris Barnes right away. I came across Cannibal and was like, that's fucking rad.
You never were like turned off by it?
No, I wasn't. I mean, I was always like, I can't understand what they're saying, but I didn't dislike the sound of the voice.
I got introduced, and I want to kind of ask you guys about this too, but I got introduced to death metal actually kind of more through like black metal, but like Cradle of Filth kind of style, like, or Demu, like, and it was kind of like, oh shit. And then like, people showed me Cannibal and this and that. Of course I'd heard that, and then I heard like Suffocation. I remember like when the first time I heard Suffocation was like on a boombox at a gas station, like in the 90s. And it was like, and I was like in high school, and it sounded like skulls to me. I was like it sounds like skulls getting crushed. I was like, I was just like my first impression was like, it was really good. It sounded all like tight, but I just was like, whoa, that's like so strange, and then like, but yeah, I mean, like, but I think with that kind of stuff, you got to go to a show, man. You got to see that live, and then you're like, okay, like, everyone, damn, what Cannibal, like, I don't know. So
I mean, that is a good description. It sounded like skulls. It sounded like,
that's what my brain thought. Yeah.
I mean, like that first record with like the machine driving through the graveyard or whatever the fuck it is, the Dancy grave, that kind of captures
that
it.
would sound like the crunchiness of that.
I mean, I was like 16 or something, and I was like, whoa. But like my favorite, okay, so this is a question to you guys specifically. What's the death metal album that like got you into that extreme, like that next level music? For me, it was the first Nile, like Amongst the Catacombs. Like that was the bridge album, or just like, oh, okay.
So you're saying like, bridge from like the old school into the next?
No, just bridge from like not being into death metal. Like that album was like pulled me in. Like it was like freaking like quicksand. Like I was just like, oh. And then I go down and it's just like, that's it. I'll never come back.
I just remember my friend Steve at the time. He had Gallery of Suicide. He had Tomb of the Mutilated, and he had Formulas Fatal to the Flesh. Those three records right there, I remember listening in his room and actually being like excited about what I was hearing, you know.
What about you guys, John?
So I don't know if it counts. I was saying before, Focus from Cynic was the first album that was like a really nice progression of that, because it was like tasteful at the time. For me, I felt like, oh, this is tasteful. They're not doing it all the time. It works. And then I got into Death, and then that's where it changed. Symbolic is where like
Oh yeah.
That's that was, I mean, I remember going on a band trip and buying Human and Focus at the same store, and not realizing that Sean and Paul were on both records until I looked at the back of them at home, and I was like, what the fuck? So that was just cool. But I think before that, it was that Arch Enemy Doomsday Machine record, and I always liked Angela. Like, I could hang, because before that, I kind of had this vibe that death metal was like, from Cannibal Corpse, like kind of misogynistic, and I was always a little scared of it, not knowing too much about it. And then I was like, oh, chicks can do it. It's got to be sick. Or like, at least like it's not gonna turn me into anything horrible. And then from there, it was, you know, all in on the Cannibal, like within a year or two. But yeah,
shout out to Joel, dude.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Joel, he's our other host who is MIA, but he is, no, just kidding. He's on a plane flight, and he just chimed in. Hi, Joel.
What's up, Joel?
What's up, babes?
We miss you, baby.
Right. But yeah, so I wanted to obviously ask about, you know, your connection, or like getting into like Florida scene in particular, because I don't know if we've had, well, we must have had guests from Florida. Obviously, we've had some OG Florida guests before, but from like a newer school of death metal, like you relate to that a little differently than people from California would.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, the Florida scene was like very I don't know, the word's probably strange, I guess, the best word I can find. Very like hardcore oriented when we were coming up. So we played a lot of like really mixed shows, and like bigger, you know, opening up for bigger tours and stuff like that. Like I was just telling somebody probably 8 or 9 years ago, we opened for a package that was like Terror, Stray from the Path, and Counterparts, and then us, like a tech deathcore band or whatever.
Yeah,
we played all kinds of weird shows like that, because like that's what like South Florida and like you know, Central Florida became. It became like very like hardcore oriented. So we kind of missed the boat a little bit on like the Florida death metal that everybody is you know, for very good reason, like romance, because it's very sick, obviously. But yeah, we just kind of came up in an interesting time where deathcore was like kind of where it is almost now, honestly, which is crazy to see it like kind of come full circle.
So I feel like that happened everywhere. So basically, it's just like that also happened in Florida, even though it's the birthplace of like death metal. It's not like it only, you know, it stayed only death metal, even through a change in other places or anything.
Yeah, it was tough.
So
I mean,
I was gonna say, let's go back a little bit, because I want to hear about you know, honing the craft and then meeting like-minded people that you started jamming with in the adolescent stages of being a musician. I want to hear all those stories.
Yeah, for sure, man. So yeah, so I've been playing for 20 years this year. Like I mentioned, I got my first guitar when I was 13. And since then, it's just been like trying to learn, you know, the songs that inspire me, and then trying to write stuff that's similar. And like, that was like always a thing. It was always like, how do I write something that sounds as cool as this? So that was always a lot of it. It's like trying to play the stuff that was challenging. Like that was a big driver, especially with like the other two musicians that I was always hanging out with. And they were like, you know, way ahead of me in a lot of different ways. So that was super helpful. It was like me trying to keep up with these guys made me a better player.
Yeah, dude, that's inspiration from the music. You're getting inspiration from the artists that you've fallen in love with, listening to their music, plus having local people that are further down the line That's a great combination to drive you to get better, because you have what is perfect in recorded form to you, all the stuff that you love, that you listen to, and then you see guys that are capable of stuff that's beyond you. You naturally want to catch up.
Yeah, exactly. And then as around that time is when you know, YouTube and shit like Kazaa and LimeWire and computer aids was a big thing. So I remember just like, you know, sorry Paul Gilbert, but like, you know, downloading Paul Gilbert instructional videos like allegedly on LimeWire. And yeah, if there's guitar players, you know, I guess around my age who did the same thing, there's one that between each exercise, he's got like these cheerleaders that are like kind of doing a thing in between each one. And that's just one of them that's like ingrained in my memory. But yeah, using that stuff, like that was the first. It was right when all that stuff became available to everyone.
Have you seen Frank Gambale's?
I think I've seen it once.
Dude,
that's not one that I
Frank
watched.
There's all kinds of fucking exercising spandex chicks in those guitar videos, dude. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Exercising
so
guitar,
funny.
dude. What a little niche genre, dude. I want to check it out now.
Sorry, I had to throw
There are some silly ones, like because everybody, you know, all the virtuoso guys were doing guitar videos like that. So I feel like, you know, people were trying to put their personality into it. And then I think it got to the extreme of like, if you've ever seen the Buckethead one, that one's like almost uncomfortable to watch as he
I wouldn't doubt it.
He tries to teach you stuff and he's talking through like a hand puppet.
Oh yeah.
I've never seen it. Like it's super, it's sick as fuck, but it's like, yeah, it's a little strange.
Well, yeah, dude. I mean, you talk about Buckethead. I don't know too much about it. I just know that he is just a song machine that just spits them out all the time. He's been doing it for a long time, and he's always been the guy with the mask and the KFC bucket, dude. You know, and and
It's a weird thing.
I really, it's so funny because the only album that I really had was the one that he did with Les Claypool, but I don't even remember what that one was called. I more so got into it because of Les. But yeah, dude, Buckethead's an interesting character. I wouldn't doubt he'd be teaching you guitar through a hand puppet.
Yeah.
But if his name was Head Bucket, dude, it wouldn't be quite as cool. Right? Silly.
Yeah, then just continue to play and try and just get better. And then had aspirations to like go to music school and potentially like, ironically enough, had aspirations to go to Berkeley in Boston, which I live in New England now, and moved to Massachusetts 5 years ago, and I live in Connecticut now. But wanted to do that. And so when I was about 18 is really when I started to like go to local shows and meet people. And that's where I met the guys that were in a band called Behold the Ruins, which I ended up joining, and then very quickly, you know, became kind of like the main songwriter. And then we ended up changing the name of the band. And that was like how Abiotic kind of came to be.
So the infancy of it, of the Abiotic project, was at what age for you?
So I joined Behold the Ruins. I was probably like 19.
So you joined the band, and then that band kind of dissolved into you. And were you working with members of the band afterward, though, for Abiotic?
Yeah. Yep. So it was more like just like a straight up deathcore band, like, you know, Whitechapel, you know, 2008 Somatic Defilement is like what they were kind of trying to do. And then I wanted to do, like, I had gotten really into at that point, like, you know, tech death and like kind of the modern stuff. Like the Faceless was just like coming out, and Planetary Duality and like doing their thing. And Veil of Maya and Born of Osiris and After the Burial and kind of those feel like, you know, forward thinking bands for the time.
For sure.
So they kind of just wanted to like rebrand. It's like, oh, you know, you're in the band now. We wrote a bunch of songs that like don't fit what we want to do now as a band. So like, let's just start over. And we recruited the bass player, who was the original bass player of Abiotic. He was playing for Behold the Ruins. So he and I are like, I guess what you could call like the OG members. The other guitar player, Matt, also, he filled in for some shows when we were Behold the Ruins, and then ended up joining Abiotic. And our vocalist Ray, who was on the first record, we pretty much took him from another local band that we played a ton of shows with, and we're just like, hey, we're, you know, redoing this thing. Do you want to do vocals? And then the drummer was someone that I had like met and jammed with a ton before, kind of starting to really want to do the thing, and ended up playing drums for us.
What's the difference between abiotic and antibiotic?
So abiotic, the definition is like void of life. So it's anything that's like not living.
Okay.
Antibiotic fights infections.
There you go. You heard it here.
You heard it.
Nice. Yeah.
So void of life. That's yeah. Death, dude.
Basically.
Or
It
just
was,
not alive. Like
not alive,
Mars would count as an abiotic planet as far as we know.
Right.
Mm.
Okay. It's
So-
like an okay. All right. I get
Pretty
it.
much everywhere except Earth as far as we know.
Like the North Pole, according to the Christmas movie Polar Express. Abiotic, dude.
Yeah,
Void of life.
Well, there's I
Cool.
don't know the movie, so I don't know what.
I know I did. That was a cut reference to like the cutty reference to the beginning of that movie where he looks at because he's one of the kids that's getting to that age. I'm starting to figure it out and all this shit. Santa's bullshit. Looking up in the
What are you talking about?
Dude, I already laid it out. I already said
Dude,
Polar
this is-
Express. It's a Christmas movie.
This is the last episode before Christmas, and you just said Santa's not real.
is that the movie where the polar bears fight?
No.
Oh, that's a different movie.
I guess I'm just a fucking dad of 3 children, dude. So. But no, it's a Christmas movie. It's whether or not you believe, you're on the edge of not believing, but then Santa makes you believe type deal. You know, that's the end. He ends up believing after the whole thing. But in the beginning, while he's being all I don't believe in Santa, he's looking in his encyclopedia, looking up the North Pole, and it says devoid of life, and I was like, oh shit, that's kind of death metal.
Wow,
Devoid of
Santa is
life.
death metal. That's crazy,
Really-
dude. I watched Elf last night, dude.
Yeah.
Elf's a great one.
Yeah, and then Elf. I didn't realize Tyrion was in that, dude. I was like, no way, Peter
Tyrion.
Dinklage. I was like,
Oh
dude,
yeah,
I
totally,
totally
dude.
didn't remember. I didn't
And he
even watch.
fucking he whoops Will Ferrell's ass, dude.
He totally does.
Or
He's
Buddy
like,
the
"Call me
Elf, I should
one
say."
more time. Yeah.
He's an angry elf.
We got to throw a little Christmas in this podcast tonight.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, wait, no, we got one more before Christmas.
Do we?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Oh, I guess so.
yeah.
So no
Christmas is a
Say
week
Mariah
from
Carey.
Sunday.
I thought Christmas is like tomorrow. Okay,
No,
let's
it's a
go.
week from Sunday. We still got one more, but we could still get a little festive. Come on now. All right, enough with the fucking Polar Express reference that I tried to throw in there. I don't even know. Oh, it was, okay. So that's what it was. It came out of the explanation of the band name. All right. So now you guys are that the ruins of your ruin band is
ruined.
and Abiotic is coming to fruition. So tell us what that's all about. Like, was it your brainchild? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I pretty much. So obviously all of us like worked on it and wrote and everything, but like the band name, I was looking up like science, like medical terms, and thought that the name was cool. And then I was like, starts with the letter A, the next letter is the letter B, everything alphabetical, we're going to be at the top.
There you go.
So that, and also, you know, the name, I think being the definition being kind of cool is kind of like,
if you called it Abiotic, it would have been fucking at the very top of the list, dude.
I just put like 40 A's in front of that bitch and just like, it would have been good. No, then we were just like doing the local band thing, practicing a few times a week, which included like writing and just sitting in a warehouse with a bunch of dudes writing music, like not on computers like we all do it now, which was fucking painstaking. And really just like I got a notebook and I wrote like abiotic goals on it, and each page had like a different thing, like by this time let's do this, by this time let's do this, we need merch, we need this, we need that, and kind of just like checking off small goals to get to the bigger goal, which is like, you know, we record some singles, put together a music video, get an EP together. And then while we were doing all that, I woke up like a Saturday morning, hopped on my laptop and had an email in my inbox from like Metal Blade Records, like, hey, what are you guys doing?
Mm-hmm.
And that's really where like things kind of started to happen quickly.
Right.
Damn.
Right.
That's pretty early for Metal Blade to hit up a band.
It was wild. Like we put out a music video for Vermo Sapien in 2010, end of 2010, beginning of 2011. We put out the Universal Plague EP, and then April of 2012 we were signed to Metal Blade.
Okay. I think, did they sign Rivers of Nile around that same era?
I think they signed them like a year later or something.
Okay, so that was like
right around then.
Yeah, for sure. So you guys were just like, all right, we're the new Metal Blade band out of Florida. Like, time to go.
It was
Yeah.
dude. Wild. They're like, you ready to tour? I was like, hell yeah, we're ready to tour. Like, we didn't have a van, we didn't have like anything. I just said like, fuck yeah, what do you want to hear?
Yes, dude. Yes.
$2,000 together and bought the worst van you could possibly imagine in your life, and tried to tour in like $2,000 conversion van.
So how long did that last? Because we've heard some horror stories on.
Anthony knows about vans.
I do.
Dude, I could give you, this whole podcast could be van horror stories. Like we went through probably like 5 vans in the first like 4 years of touring.
Yeah.
Because we're all broke, and it was just like, hey, how much money can we like scratch together, borrow from family to like have a van? And I've seen like everything has happened to us like while we're on the road. Like in the middle of, I think it was that van, might have been another one, but like middle of winter, we're touring like in the Colorado area. Our heater core goes in the van, and it breaks, and then we just have coolant leaking into the van.
Casey knows this story.
Oh, I know. Yeah, just keep going. Yeah, it's terrible.
It's horrifying. So we're just in the van with coolant leaking into it. So there's I think there's still pictures up on our Instagram of like everyone wrapped up in clothing, like trying not to breathe in fumes.
Jesus.
And we're driving on the highway with all the windows down, and it's like 25 degrees outside.
Mm-hmm.
And
Lord, dude, dude.
Poured in the summer with no air conditioning, had like a fuel pump die on the highway in Arizona. Like I was driving, fuel pump dies, the steering wheel just locks. So you can only kind of like move it like an inch to the left or to the right. So I had to I was in the middle lane of a highway. I had to kind of like inch over, like just fucking pulling on the steering wheel hard as I could. Stranded. I've been stranded in Arizona. I've been stranded in New York. Like, if I have any advice for any upcoming ban is just like get reliable transportation because it's fucking
Somehow, yeah. I know you got to spend a lot of money on
It's just not worth it.
cars. I mean, yeah, it would for an up and coming band though. It's not in the budget to have a
Did you guys
van that's got 60, 70,000 miles that's used, but still you're gonna spend a lot of money on that van.
do you guys hear that like Tesla has been making like affordable touring vans for like, specifically metal vans and shit?
Yeah, that's a good.
You know
That's a
that?
good. I'm sure that he totally looked at that market and said, "I need to get in there."
this is where the money is.
Just stupid.
Who
Yeah.
fucking can't afford it?
Yeah, no, it's it is unfortunately a thing that and a lot of fans probably don't even think about that aspect about tour. I could say that there's probably a small percentage of people for cancellations on shows because of like vehicle problems. Bands not showing up to shows because they're broken down. There's still probably some motherfucker at that show like, no, I'm not. Yeah, they should have been here. And it's just
That's
like, dude, you don't understand the process of getting to every single gig successfully on these tours.
I mean, that's like the exact reason. I mean, I hate to tell you this now, Anthony. It's been like 20 years almost, but it's kind of the reason we asked you to join the band, dude, because you're a mechanic.
There you go. That's the secret reason. I don't even actually.
I hope that doesn't hit. It's been long enough that I hope that doesn't hit too. Too steamy.
Yeah. The only time I actually had to pull together and use my expertise was a blowout on a tire. That's it. I just had to fucking change out a spare. I didn't have to get under the hood of any van that I've toured in, luckily.
Wait, wasn't there a time when Joel's tire blew out and you had to pick me up to the airport or something?
Yeah, he was supposed to be taking you, and then the tire blew out, and I picked you up, took you to the airport, and then towed Joel back, threw a tire on his car, and he was out.
We were in South San Francisco.
I fucking saved both of you guys. I saved both of you guys in one shot.
Dude, that shit was dope. I made my flight like just in time. It was great.
Yeah, dude. I made it happen.
Joel's
all right, enough about me and my fucking automotive.
I want to talk more about cars though, real fast.
So
I know we did bring up one of the vans. Yeah,
I remember one of the first things I knew about Abiotic is that you had Aaron Stacconner playing drums for you for a bit.
We did, yeah.
And he was like fresh and like out of Cali, and just like, did you just like pick up and move to Florida and join the band?
Pretty much, yeah. So
and then Aaron, just for reference, played with Rings of Saturn, Interloper, and has been playing for a bunch of bigger bands lately. So
yeah. Filled in for the Faceless, filled in for Born of Osiris. Like, yeah, he's been actually just caught up with Aaron on a FaceTime video yesterday.
Oh, really?
Funny enough, yeah.
I saw him out at a show on Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah, we hung out for a bit.
Sick. Yeah. Shout out to Aaron. Yeah, we had decided to part ways with our OG drummer, and someone recommended him a friend from California, and he had some videos up of like, fucking 18-year-old kid like playing Opeth songs and shit.
Yep.
So I was like, oh, this kid is very sick. So I hit him up and I was like, hey man, like, we're a signed band, we're touring, we're looking for a drummer. Like, can you put together a couple of covers of some songs? And he was like, yeah, sure. And I don't remember how long it was. It feels like he sent us a cover of a song in a day.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, so we were asking for the Grays of Locusts, which is on that first record, and then like one other one. But the Grays of Locusts like was very like tough song drumming wise. And I was like, oh, this is probably going to take a minute. There's a lot of parts. Like, back then our songs were just like, a lot of people love them, like very riff salad songs. Cause we, didn't really get to write our songs and listen back as listeners back then. Cause when we were, like I mentioned, we're writing in a warehouse, you're playing the song and writing the song as you're playing it. And it's not like, oh, let's listen back and see what that sounds like. That wasn't the thing. But yeah, he sent back a cover like in a day. And to this day, Aaron has probably one of the better memories on a human being I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
where again he same deal. Like he moved down to Florida. He had some very precarious living situations, just kind of to make it work. And I appreciated that sacrifice on his part, to do the thing. But yeah, we could play a song and I'd be like, hey, like on the fourth time that we do that fill that you do like this, can you do this one instead? He'd be like, yeah, sure. And then do it like perfect the next time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can't say enough good things about Aaron. Super, super talented guy. And yeah, I'm stoked to see what's next for him.
Totally. Yeah, I know he's been playing a lot more. I don't know what to call it. He was in that band Drugs for a while.
Yep.
Playing for them, and then I've just seen footage. I don't even know the bands, but I've just seen footage that he's playing like big shows, like not underground shows. So yeah, he's definitely come up at the underground and on the other side. So
yeah,
that's a really good asset to have as a band who wants to move along, because making quick changes like that in the jam space where you're all writing together, the quicker the correction, or not even correction, just quicker the change in order for everybody to hear it in a different way, the quicker you guys can move forward from whether or not you're going to keep it that way or change it,
exactly.
And yeah, and the drummer's a big deal for a guy that can make those changes in the moment real quick,
Yeah, 100%. Like 6-minute song, and we're like, hey, I know you got to remember like 13 riffs before this section, but this section, can you do the second half in halftime? And also, can you make sure you hit your third China, not the fourth China? Make sure it's
well, I want to give it up to Joseph, because the stuff that he has to remember to play the Disgorge material, dude, it's next level, dude. Like,
yeah,
to keep memory of all of that, it's hats off to you, dude.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, there's a way to do it. You can just compartmentalize, and what really it comes from is like enjoying playing the song, and just like kind of just being like, this is how the song has to go to sound good, and kind of digging into that kind of just music. I don't know how else to put it, but I don't know. If you listen to enough music from when you're a child on, and you can just like, recall like what Chad Smith plays on this Chili Peppers thing, or what Dave Grohl plays on this Nirvana thing. If you do that for 5 years before you even start playing death metal, it's just, I don't know. You've been doing it for a lot longer, and it's something where what you're memorizing isn't that complicated to remember at that point.
Does it? Yeah. How? That's actually another question I want to ask you real quick: is how much is it really muscle memory? If you play a song enough, your muscles do remember what comes next. Sometimes in a moment where your brain doesn't remember what
you
comes
need that.
next.
I think you need that more because things are going to go wrong while you're playing, and you need to actually be focusing on correcting against like imperfections in the situation rather than focusing on the playing. So if I didn't have it like muscle memory, then if something happened, like a kick pedal trigger goes out or something, like it's just going to throw it off. But if you just know, like, have muscle memory, then you can just kind of like focus on whatever else needs to happen, or like be like, okay, as soon as the song ends, I need to tell the sound guy to like lower my headphone, whatever it is. That's what you're gonna need to focus on. So that's where the muscle memory comes in, is so you can just keep going through whatever other conditions are happening.
Which is very important, because then it keeps everybody else as in line as you possibly can. But I mean, missing like a trigger for the rest of a song or something like that before you can fix it, that really is, one, like harder for other people in the band, but two, like, you're immediately telling your right leg or your left leg, whatever trigger's missing, to start going off a feel automatically.
Yeah. You just have to, make judgments on the fly. But again, it's just like, if you're really like a musician, then you just come up with a part that works with what you have, so yeah. But yeah, dude, yeah, there's a lot of sick drummers that I am continually impressed by how versatile they are and how they get along with stuff. Just shout out to another Aaron Hetzko, who today announced he's filling in for Enterprise Earth on their tour in January and I think February as well with Shadow of Intent. He's gonna go over there and do that, shred that shit. So
nice.
So anyway, yeah.
So yeah, that went off on you talking about your drummer and how quickly you guys can change while you're writing in the studio and all that stuff.
But then, yeah, I wanted to ask about kind of, Abiotic getting started with the touring, and you were talking about the vehicles, but like, what were the actual tours that you were on, like the other bands and so on?
Yeah, so our first full U.S. run. It's funny because before jumping on, we were talking about chasing. Our first full U.S. run was us and Enfold Darkness doing like a co-headliner, and then Veiled Nath and a band called After the Spire were opening.
Of course.
So it was Stevie, who now does vocals for Inferi. He was doing vocals for the Veiled Nath. And then Jason was playing drums for Enfold Darkness.
Yeah.
And it was just sick tour, hard tour, like, not making great money, fan issues, whatever. But first time doing a full US, and it was awesome. And, just getting to see somebody like Jason just like absolutely destroy and be such a cool dude. And then like Stevie be, as sick as he was, and kind of see where those guys are now, like 10 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Very fucking cool. And then our first like bigger run of shows, we did a week with the Faceless, Within the Ruins, and Rings of Saturn. And that's kind of like, that was our first bigger tour. Then we did.
Were you making a little more money on that one, or about the same?
Probably about the same, man. Yeah.
So before you move on, I just want to ask you a quick question, because you're talking about, barely any money, vehicle issues. For you specifically, what was the drive to keep you going in the touring phase of being an artist? Because that's a make or break situation for a lot of artists, so tell us about the things that kept you wanting to come back. If there's no money and cars are breaking down all the time, that sounds like a fucking tough deal. So what is it that keeps you go back to even at that stage of your life where that was really happening? Like, think about what was driving you to get to the next show every single time on one of those tours.
Yeah, that's a great question, man. It was obviously a love for doing it, right? Like, as whatever as that sounds, it's like, it's rare and amazing for especially for, I feel like, as young as we were, to find what you love to do. You don't totally suck at it, and you've got an opportunity to do it. That, along with the mindset of like, we're new, we're a young band, this is part of the game. Like, you just got to eat shit until the right opportunities come your way, but you got to be consistent. You got to be on the road all the time. So we were like gone for a month, home for a month, gone for a month, home for a month, and like in all kinds of debt. I fucking ruined my credit, like all the stuff.
Right.
But it was just, it was all a means to an end, which was like, what's the goal? Like, we want to be like all the bigger bands on Metal Blade. Like, we want to be the Behemoth and Black Dahlia and Whitechapel. So like, what do? They tore a fuck ton, and that's what they did. And so that's what we got to do.
Mm-hmm. But that's the long-term goal. I want to know, like, the in the moment thing where you're staring at your overheated van on the side of the road and you got this gig that you're supposed to get to. Like, is it still that, or is there other things that are involved, like maybe, friendships that you made on the tour, like those things kind of keep the negative aspects at bay? Like, well, at least I'm doing this, at least I'm able to have a beer with these guys that we just met and we're vibing with, you know, like touring with other bands and quick jump through, like the hoops that you got to jump through to be friends are almost non-existent when you go out on tour with a band. Even if it's from the first day, there's already like these levels you've leveled up before you even met each other, because you don't need to do all this. We're just here, you know?
Yeah. It's almost like a forced social situation around people you want to be around.
Yeah.
So which is sick. And like, yeah, I mean, I maybe never thought about it like that, honestly. Those times easily some of the best times of my life, just like, you know, being an absolute idiot with like 30 other guys.
Yeah.
And, just getting to be like 100% like yourself, and you know, you don't give a fuck where you are. You don't give a fuck who's around.
Right.
You in the moment with the dudes that like you're out doing, you know, living a dream. And I think that's for sure is an underlying like shared experience when you're out there. But I think to go back to your question, I think it's like, what was driving every day? It's like, first, if we miss a show, that's detrimental in a lot of ways.
A lot of ways.
Lost
gas money, lost merch sales, lost, you know, practice, because every show is still practice.
Right.
You know?
And you know, we were playing in a new city, lost opportunity to play in that city for the first time in front of new faces. Like, so it was all like, I'm just like a very goal-oriented guy. And like, it was just fucking blinders on, laser beam fucking toward the goal, whatever we got to do.
Yeah. Rad.
That's cool, dude. And you obviously made through that, you know?
Yeah. Ups and downs for sure. Like we did have like a hiatus, we'll call. We technically, like, the band broke up for a few years. Because like the, you know, out for a month, home for a month, out for a month, home for a month, and like getting home and not fucking having any money, and like, you know, just kind of trying to do the thing as hard as we did for so long. Everybody was just burnt out, and you know, piling on some other shit going on. It's like, we're like, everybody's got to get their shit together before we can think about doing this again. Because you know, you're making sacrifices for a while, and if you don't get that like break, it's hard to keep doing, and especially hard for like the people around you. You know, you might still have the drive, but the people around you that are helping you live your dreams might not be down to keep doing that after a certain amount of time, which is understandable.
Totally, dude. Yeah.
So then what were you doing during that hiatus though, yourself?
I was bummed, but still writing music, trying to, you know, do some solo stuff and get a career going outside of music.
Still study guitar all the time stuff?
Yeah, trying to write. I learned how to record, so I like buddy of mine helped me get like an at-home recording setup and kind of showed me the ropes. So I was able to start, you know, demoing and you know, just really honing in as much as I could, guitar and then also, like I mentioned, like just trying to get a career outside of music too. So that way it's like, if this doesn't work out, it's not like the end of the world, you know? And when you've got that kind of perspective on it, like we have now for the last few years since we came back, it's just changed things, and I still love it as much as I did.
So, okay. But how much, what were you, did the material that you were writing in that hiatus, how much of it ended up going towards Abiotic when you guys reformed?
Yeah, I put out a solo song that was just me, and then the other stuff I was writing, I was like putting up videos and things like that, and Travis, who has been our vocalist since the second record, he hit me up and was like, dude, like, you're writing a bunch of stuff. Like, let's just do the thing again. Like, we're all in a pretty decent spot right now. We could potentially just like
all the same guys too.
All the same guys from the second album.
Okay.
Minus, well, I'm sorry, I'm lying to you. So, vocalist and guitar player from the second album. Aaron actually was slated to come back on drums, but he was too busy with some other things he had going on. And then bass player just was in a different place. He just, he wasn't about it. So that's where we got Killian, who has been playing bass for us, now for the last few years.
Oh, Killian, dude.
Yeah.
And with Fallujah as well, right?
Playing with Fallujah. He played with Scale the Summit.
Sick.
Angels
He's fucking incredible. Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. Awesome guy. I've absolutely loved working with Killian. He was on our on Ikigai on the last record and has been on, all of our new stuff since.
I wanted to ask about that bass player. I didn't know who it was. Okay, that explains everything because, yeah, I mean, plays for Fallujah.
You recognize the game?
Yeah, I mean, if you have Evan Brewer as your session bass player and then you want to get someone for live, like, it's got to be someone is sick. So they got with Killian. That's sick.
Yeah, I'm super stoked for him because they're obviously a lot busier than we are. And I love the Fallujah guys. I absolutely love that band too. So I'm super pumped for him, super pumped for them. And then our drummer, Anthony, he joined shortly after. And
me?
Not quite, but unless you can do
hell no, dude. I only do shitty grindcore.
Visual, like he did all the mixing and mastering of Ikigai and all of our music since.
Damn.
He does the orchestration. He did if you've watched any of our music videos from Ikigai, he did all the animation for like all of those videos.
Whoa.
He helps write, like he's like the unsung hero of this band.
That's killer, dude. And what year was it that you guys decided to reform again?
2019, we put out a single, did a comeback headliner. That was like our kind of reforming.
So real quick, when did the online videos, the Instagram page for you personally and all your viral videos, let's get into that a little bit. When did that all happen during that?
That started popping off like this year, actually.
Oh, really? Is that recent?
Like 6 to 8 months or something.
Okay, so let's save that a little bit. Let's get up to this point. Let's finish off what's been going on with what you're talking about. So this is not 2019. Let's get the fucking band back together, literally.
Yeah.
And let's fucking do this. So what was the plan? Like I had asked you, like how much of your stuff had been contributed to. Is it a group thing, or is it mainly you, the songwriter? How does that all work?
Yeah, very, very much a group thing. So I had a couple of other songs I was working on, like for some of the solo stuff that ended up being on that record on Ikigai. So for example, one of the singles, Smoldered, that was the first song that like I had bits and pieces of already. And when we decided like, hey, we're coming back, I was like, cool, this is going to be the first song that I work on. And that ended up making it on the record, which, I was stoked on. But yeah, it's very much a group effort, especially now that me, the other guitar player, Matt, and then Tony, who's like a full blown engineer, like we've got capabilities to track ideas at home and send shit back and forth and like say, hey, Tony, I've got these few riffs. Do you have some shit that you're working on that you feel like would work? And then that's really what we do now. It's just like Matt and I will come up with like preliminary skeletons of stuff, sections we want to do, riffs that we're really into. And then we'll work with Tony on like arranging it because he'll do most of the arrangements. And it's been like super smooth process. And I think we've gotten the best songs that we've ever written out of doing it this way.
Killer, dude. Yeah, I think a group mentality aspect or like, you know, just getting multiple brains together, and it could show, you know, people could contribute to the project with a certain vision, and but with the, you know, constructive criticism of the peers that they respect, that they want to work with,
Yeah.
they can accept that criticism if they've, you know, they could end up being pushed in it, or yeah, their vision could be pushed in a different direction. They didn't realize that something was covered and the homies uncovered it for them, you know? And I just like that whole throw it in the pot, throw it in a cauldron, let's stir it up together and see what we get type deal.
Yeah, exactly. It's not about like who wrote it. It's more just like, is it a good song? Is it a good section or not? You know, and just
Right.
like take your ego out of it. And it's just like, whoever fucking wrote it, if it's sick, let's use it.
I like the metaphor of like, it starts as a boulder and we all chip away at it, you know, and eventually we're going to have a sculpture that we all created together that we're finally going to sit back and be like, oh yeah, dude, that's ours right there, you know?
Yeah.
That's mainly what it is, dude. You just working with the people that you like working with. They also end up being your best friends if you're lucky, and boom, you're off running, and you guys make sculptures.
I just want to say I like you guys.
I like you too, bro.
As long as you're not the guy, and I'm sorry if there's one of you guys in this group, as long as you're not the guy that's just like, I don't like that.
Yeah, no.
What don't you like about it? I don't know.
No.
I just don't like that.
That's like Joel. He's not here tonight, so
you gotta come with solutions, man.
No, he's not. I'm just kidding.
No, I think we're too old for that. It's like, it's cool, but you know, we would have something be like, I don't even know how we would handle that really, because it's few and far between. I actually trust Casey wholeheartedly with all the music and Odious, because I've worked with him for fucking this long now. I know exactly how his brain works with that shit. So I'm like, yo, have at it, bro.
So my question, leading off the reformation kind of topic, was did you guys have like a record deal still in effect when you reformed? How does like taking a break work when you're like a band on a label like Metal Blade?
So we didn't know. So to kind of, I guess, give you the like paint the picture of like where things left off, we we're putting out getting ready to put out our second record. We don't have management at the time. We're working with Metal Blade to find a manager that fits where we are as a band. That's taking longer than any of us would like, but Metal Blade's like, let's just put out the record anyway. And so I think due to in part to a lot of factors, one of those, that being one of the main factors, the record didn't do as well as we'd hoped, probably as well as the label hoped. So we ended up working with another management company that I will tell you guys off air who it is. And Metal Blade wasn't super stoked. So that, among other things, I imagine, we ended up getting dropped right after we did our first tour in Europe with Suffocation and Cattle Decap.
Okay.
So we're back on the up and up after hitting some bumps. We do this first, like,
damn, dude,
probably the sickest tour we've ever done. And then, that's some of the news. So when we came back, we're just like, hey, we're going to, we put time into the game. We've got connections. If we want to shop this and put it out on a label, we will. If we want to self-release, maybe we will. We self-released the comeback single before we put the record out. It's a single called Emerald.
Mm-hmm.
That's our most streamed song as a self-release. But ended up like, I was like, well, to do the record, I want to like partner with a label that I like and I'm gonna be stoked on working with, and we ended up going with the Artisan Era.
Hell yeah.
Can I share that song? The
Emerald?
or Vermo Sapien?
Oh yeah, sure. That's on this record
cool?
behind me here. On Mutation. Yeah, absolutely.
I'd like to share that if I do it right. Joel's not here, but I think I can figure it out. Let's see here. Oh, I think I did it. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Sweet. Can you hear it?
A little choppy.
Choppy. Is it coming back all choppy? Not good.
Are you guys getting choppy too, or is it just me?
Yeah, it never works right when we fucking do this, dude. I wish we could like have it sound just as good as.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
okay. Let's try.
Sound is good for what it was. I mean, you know,
if we all like maybe if we all mute, I don't know. Let's mute.
If we try one of those reels, dude.
Well, first let's test it. If we all mute, let's just test it,
dude.
If it gets weird, I'll.
I don't think
wave
it's that.
my hand.
Is it the mute thing?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. I don't know.
It just sucks that you can't. The sound quality of anything shared always sucks.
It's not. Yeah, there's something I'm not doing right. But maybe we can try the reels.
Go for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Fast forward in time. We'll catch up on the story later.
I don't want to.
Let's talk about it first before you play them, dude. Come on.
I know. Never mind. Okay. What are you talking about? What reels?
Well, so just to fill in just the commentary on it. So it's cool. I mean, I guess I would say that Abiotic as a band, I kind of see them as kind of getting over this like hump, this like kind of mid-career hump that other bands did not survive. And the way that you kind of landed afterwards is actually kind of inspiring and also just very cool. And yeah, I could imagine it, not continuing. But I guess when you go all in as, like a 20-year-old or whatever on music, like it's an era where you sometimes get people's like best music comes out of that era because they're young and they have like nothing to lose, or, they're all in on it. But with you guys, I can tell that your best music is yet to come. And I can feel that, having kind of the stability you have now is going to be something you can draw upon and make really sick music with. And I feel like you're not just kind of being pushed by like a label as something anymore. You guys can just kind of have that control yourselves.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, I think you nailed that as far as my feelings are concerned. Is like, I still think, we're writing right now. Everybody fucking says this, but like the best music we've ever written.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that's a result of the change in circumstances for everyone. And like you said, there's less pressure. So less pressure, less internal pressure, like pressure I'm putting on myself. Mm-hmm. And then, less pressure of everything else, right? Like, being someone who like, every band has like the person or two that's like helping write that list of goals, right? And, hopefully steering the band ship in the right direction. So you kind of feel like the responsibility and consequences like falls on you a lot of the time. So good or bad. Mm-hmm. And so that can kind of be tough too. So to be in like a little bit of a better position where, we can kind of choose what we do, choose what we don't do, be okay with it if we're missing out on something, be okay with it if like, we're not ready to drop everything to like take a spot on a tour next month. That would be sick. And then if we don't, it's like, fuck, like, no, something else will come, right? Like, yeah, we're not in a rush. Like it's cool. We'll kind of do things at our own pace. And then that gives Killian the opportunity to do cool shit, gives our drummer Tony the opportunity to do cool shit. I can like, you know, do the family thing I'm doing and like still have this be something that that we can do when we can and when like makes the most sense.
Yeah. Can you talk just a little bit more about what it was like going on tour with Suffocation and Cattle Decapitation in Europe?
Absolutely. I can talk about that all night too. Huge shout out to the Suffo guys. They took us under their wing in a lot of ways. So took us out on our first European tour. They took us out on the last tour that we did pre-pandemic. It was them, Belphegor, us, and Necronomicon in the US.
Oh yeah, you guys were on that. Holy shit.
Yep. Yeah. And so Terrence is like such an amazing dude and like a hero of mine, and just cool as fuck. And Charlie, you know, their other guitar player who's been in the band for a minute now. Awesome dude as well. And yeah, just can't say Derek and you know, Eric and Ricky. Can't say enough good things about all the guys in that band and like how supportive they've been of us. But that tour was like incredible, dude. Like, you know, just kind of taking us from, hey, I wonder if our radiator's going to make it through this tour, or like, I wonder if a tire's going to explode in my face again. That happened to me. To going like touring in a nightliner with Suffocation and Cattle Decap, where I have a bunk and I don't have to drive.
Yeah.
Wake up in a new country every day.
Oh yeah.
Fucking the venue has like a staff that caters, like is cooking for us for the day.
Yeah, dude.
Just like incredible. Like, you know, that I was like, okay, this is how you fucking do it.
Yes.
And yeah, it was the shows were amazing. Like Cattle Decap too, like absolutely love those guys too. We did some shows with them in the US as well. And yeah, that was like some bucket list shit, you know, like Europe with like, you know, fucking legends. That's it doesn't beat it.
Can you remember the first time you heard Suffocation?
I was probably, it was in the van. One of the guys showed me in the van, like Pierce from Within. And I was like,
yes.
Oh yeah.
That's a perfect spot to start, dude.
I was like, my goodness.
Yeah.
And then if you listen to our last record, Ikigai, I was like, we got to put a slam in this bitch. And we
Loved it.
I was like, I gotta pay homage to the homie Terrence.
Hell yeah. So on Ikigai, I mean, I haven't looked into the lyrics, but just the album art is conceptually like, you know, a shift from what happened in Abiotic before. So could you talk about like the concepts that the band kind of writes about and how that's changed too?
Yeah, absolutely. So first, you know, we're very influenced by like, you know, again, like, and still are, but like the whole tech death thing and like everything that came along with it. So like the aesthetics and like what you write about, which is like space and aliens and like, you know, just very broad topics, which are cool. It's sick. And I still love bands like that. But with Ikigai, we really wanted to kind of to have it be a little bit more relatable. And we're like, you know, there's not a lot of bands that I think in our style that do that have lyrics like that. So I'm a big fan of like all stuff Japanese, like anime, the music, the food, like everything.
Nice.
And so I was like, I really want to incorporate like that style into the art, into the music for this record. And so for the lyrics, what we did was like, so guy on the cover, he is, you know, committing like that Japanese act of seppuku, and each song is him seeing flashes of like a different life that he lived.
So wait, before we go further,
Oh, go ahead.
performing what? What is he
Which is
performing?
like committing suicide.
Oh shit. Okay.
So that's what he's doing on the cover.
Like an honorable suicide type deal.
Dishonorable, like, you know,
Dishonorable.
Some bad happened, and he's, you know, he dishonored, so he needs to, you know, he doesn't know how to deal. So that's
So his life needs to end.
Right.
Wow.
So the idea of the record, like as a concept, is like each song he's seeing, you know, visions of a different life. Like we've got one from a perspective of a trans person and what it's like, you know, being trans in a world where, you know, you're not accepted and your family doesn't accept you. To like, you know, we put together like a climate change song and had, you know, him living through the eyes of like an owl going through like devastation of ecosystems. And then end of the record kind of wraps up where like, you know, ikigai translates from Japanese to, it's like your reason for being. It's like, what makes you happy? What are you good at? What does the world need? Like it's kind of an all encompassing thing. And so he finds it through living these, you know, lives as he's dying, finds his reason to keep going, but it's too late.
Damn.
Trip.
That's sick. That's very conceptually strong.
I like that a lot.
Might have
really
to fucking pull out the old darklyrics.net and read along one of these days.
Darklyrics.net.
That's
dude.
like the fucking high school move right there.
You almost feel like you shouldn't be typing that into your browser, dude. Darklyrics.net. It's not even .com, dude.
It's the dark web.
I guess I probably use Metallum these days for that. You can just open all the songs up at the same time and scroll. I have it open right now because, you know, but
no, that's cool. I
like metal.
I really,
it's Genius that does like, you know, hip hop and pop and all that stuff.
Who is this?
It's genius.com. And it's
Genius.
like
all one. Okay, I thought
they do metal too.
They do metal too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I've been down the rabbit hole of like looking at like Frank Ocean songs or like fucking, you know, like the modern hip hop guys. Yeah. And then there's that Dissect podcast that like goes into like an album and a whole season, like a podcast season.
Really?
Yeah, that's cool.
It's I don't know if he'll ever move out of hip hop, but yeah, there should be one of those for metal. That's actually, you know, worth doing.
Oh wait, they do hip hop. What kind of sell
like
me on the show right now, Professor?
Okay, so it's called the Dissect Podcast. They've done a lot of albums that I don't know that much about, but they've done like Childish Gambino, Frank Ocean, Tyler the Creator, Mac Miller, that kind of stuff. And it's just like, I think it's almost like a song per episode, and some of the episodes can be like 45 minutes to an hour just on dissecting that one particular song. So
that's cool.
And just the podcast has like an Insta page where they've been doing these shorts that are like, it'll be like Drake, I don't know, he's not a good, I don't know. Fucking Nas once did like a triple entendre. Jay-Z once did like, you know, and then they break down like 2 lines and like 3 ways of reading it or 4 ways.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And
I've actually seen
the lyrics too, like what rhymes and like what, like, that is super sick.
Mm-hmm. So I think, there's a lot. I mean, you know, I think it's always like we want to be the writer, the creative who like comes up with the lyric, but then there's also so much work to be done in kind of just curating what's out there and being like, look how cool this is. Like, I'm a huge fan of this guy and I want everyone else to realize that. And it gets it across in a really cool way.
I could do that with Twin Peaks, dude. Let's start.
You could just have a Twin Peaks podcast. Why not?
That where I'm dissecting each episode, dude. You know.
There you go. But shout out to metal lyricists. Some of us, you know, out there, we read the lyrics, even if we can't hear them.
Please
understand
read
them.
the lyrics, dude. And us lyricists would like you to read it.
Anthony, yeah, read Anthony's lyrics. They're pretty sick. They're
Hell
very
yeah.
sick. Yeah.
Well,
And Casey probably adds a little bit.
no, I'm just saying.
Okay.
What?
No, I'm just joking around. Just being silly.
Yeah.
Silly geese.
But yeah, dude. Okay, so that's just very cool concept. Are you guys planning another album right now?
We're probably gonna put out a few singles in 2023,
Okay.
and then kind of decide from there what we want to do. But I wanna stay active. I want to just like put some stuff out, but not have to take the time that's necessary to like put together a whole record and kind of do that whole thing. But not take too much time off. So I think, yeah, that's kind of our goal for this year. Put out a few singles, have some cool features on them. And yeah, just keep the train moving, man.
It's
Oh,
not
yeah,
looking
dude.
like the most exciting time to tour again, right? Like in general, just not hearing a lot of good things about the touring life these days.
Neither am I.
Like what? You don't need to tell us names, but what? But give us an example.
Oh,
Just
the
overhead.
names are
Overhead is
public. Yeah, people are talking about it explicitly. Like Dark Funeral just made a post talking about, I think it was Behemoth's Nurgle, saying, he was like, yeah, Nurgle's right. Like, it's really hard. He said, I would recommend if you want to start a band and not start a band right now, because looking ahead, there's just going to be no way to
give
make
me
money
specifics.
touring.
Like you're talking about, like our. I
Just
know
gas
that
prices and stuff like
gas
that.
prices, obviously,
Inflation,
that's one
yeah.
thing. Another thing that I've been hearing people complaining about lately is venues
cuts?
taking the merch cuts. So this is my thing. After what we've been through for the last couple of years, is that something that's more prominent now in the live music scene? Is more venues, because it would be a hit or miss type deal on tour back in 2006, whether or not you would hit a venue that's gonna try and take a merch cut from you or not. So I'm wondering if now that things are back up and running, other rules have been put in place without our consent as artists, basically, and more venues are probably doing that now to try and make up for the lost time that we've had, you know? Like how else can we make more money per show now because of all the money that we lost on not having shows for 2 years, you know?
I don't think it's a now thing. I think, over the last 10 years, I've seen it like slowly more and more. And I think it happens more and more as your band grows and you're playing certain venues, that maybe you weren't playing before, that's just like an expected thing. But I think like for like the mid to, higher tier bands, if you will, like if you're playing, 500 to 1,000 cap venues, like the venue's asking for a merch cut, and it's horrible. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, like
the fake books, dude. We used to do the fake notebooks. I don't know if that still works now.
My dude, we sold 3. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what's up.
You want
dude.
to look in the trailer and count them? There's lots of boxes in there. Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
yeah. Sir.
Someone in the chat is asking how the 2-week tour in August that I did was.
Oh yeah.
That was me playing drums for Ominous Ruin. I mean, that was the band's first tour. In terms of finances, yeah, I mean, yeah, they lost money in general, but they expected to. I mean, that was like an investment in the band. So, but I mean, yeah, it was a lot of driving. So,
but you guys were comfortable in the RV situation, though, right?
Yeah, we weren't dealing with shitty transportation, but still, an RV in the summer through Texas is not as comfortable.
That's pretty
I wouldn't
gnarly.
say comfortable, but
sleeping is not that comfortable for sure, with a bunch of sweaty, smelly dudes in the heat of the deep South summer.
Luckily, I was just a hired drummer on that tour, so I didn't have to worry about. I already got paid before the whole thing started, so.
Ah, shit. That's what's up.
Damn,
that's how you. That's how you work. You
Bro,
get paid up front.
That's
Pete.
crazy. James Brown, Joseph.
James Brown will not play unless I
Joseph Brown, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, drummers out there like are in a pretty decent position if they want that kind of work, but of course, without having a connection to the created material, you might not have the long-term investment payoff that you would have if you were promoting your own material or whatever. So you got to do a little bit of both, I think, depending on what your goals are, and know your worth as well.
Yes, sir. And we know Joseph's worth.
Thank you. I think yes.
I think you're worth a lot, brother. All right, now let's get into what we were teasing earlier, because you've already surpassed it. Talked about what you're doing in 2013 or 13. What the fuck am I talking about? 2023. You guys are doing the singles, but let's get into what I was teasing before: the Instagram page, the viral videos, all that stuff. How did that come about? When did you decide that you were going to start doing these types of videos? Give us the whole rundown on that.
Yeah, it just came about like trying to put out content that would help, my presence along with the band. So it's just like keeping with the marketing, right? When you're not actually out there grinding, doing shows and shit. So it's like, how do you be creative? How do you do shit like that people are going to see? And yeah, I figured like, why not just make some stupid videos, and collabing with some people on Instagram. So like the drummer that you'll see on my Instagram that I do some videos with, he does some funny ones on his own, and then I just like remix them, put some guitars, because he just does drums. So I'm like, oh, I can just track some guitars. So
that Paradise or something.
Yeah, it's David Paradiso is his name. He plays in a band from called Dream of. Sorry if I'm butchering this, dude. Dream of Serpio, I think it's called.
Dream of Scipio. Yeah.
Scipio. There you go. And they're sick. He's super sick. He's an awesome guy.
Fuck yeah.
And yeah, he's had videos that have like blown up, and I was just like, oh, I'll just collab with him. And he's been cool enough to like share them and kind of do all that stuff, because he's got a following and shit. And that's kind of like where they started taking off a little bit.
Dude, that original, I don't know what the first one was, but I first saw the Walrus video. I thought that was fucking genius. It's just a walrus doing various noises, and he goes and he plays like slam breakdown drums.
Oh yeah, fucking yeah. I've totally seen that.
So this is the drummer guy's videos you're talking about?
Yeah. The collaborator.
Is a good one, dude.
Yeah, that one. It was just fucking genius and musical, and I mean, immediately there's, just so many good ideas out there for aspiring content creators if you're a musician, and I want to get in on this shit, dude. I was very inspired to like go make some videos playing along to all kinds of stuff, whatever else. And this whole TikTok fad of like TikTok of
this whole TikTok fad that started in the 70s,
the knick-knack paddywhack, give a dog a
all
bone,
those
fucking
stink breath 70s people.
where you'll like remix or whatever, like I don't know what they call it, but you take a video and you're next to it doing something. You know the name because you're doing it, I'm sure.
Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Wait, let Joseph finish his thought.
That's fine. It's fine. Go on.
All right, but we need to mute if we're gonna do this. I'm gonna mute myself.
Not. Oh, you gotta mute. Okay, you gotta mute.
All right.
For the listeners only, I'm sorry, you're missing a great aspect of this.
Sorry.
By the way, you can watch it
like
live
10
on
more
Twitch.
times if you guys want. I mean,
Did it work, dude? It did.
No, it's the perfect length to where you can
People are
definitely watch
saying
it
Rooster,
multiple
they
times.
saw it. Dude, I don't even know what I'm doing. Joel isn't here, the IT guy. So I'm just trying to make
That sounded fine, man. That
yeah,
was
sounded good.
Yep.
nice. You want to do the grilled cheese one, dude? You guys ready?
All right, let's do it. All right.
I think we're in the zone right now. So.
Mute again though, because it works pretty good when we all muted.
Okay, got it.
Dead air. Casey thought he had it.
Quickest click in the West, dude. Quickest screen share. There we go.
There it is. All right, stop it. No.
Oh, God! Oh, a little grilled cheese snack. Oh, God! Oh, a little.
All right.
Yes, dude.
For the listeners, if you again, it did work. Yeah. If you're listening to this only, you need to watch the video or at least go to where can people find this?
YouTube.com.
On my Instagram.
I'm just kidding. Yeah.
What? Tell them the Instagram.
Abiotic John.
There you go. Abiotic John.
Nice and simple.
There's these quick little things where he's playing along with other videos, and that was a guy who dropped his grilled cheese between the stove and the drawers.
I hate it when that happens.
And screamed way over the top for a grilled cheese. I mean, that's 2 pieces of bread and a slice of cheese, guys. Like, he could have just done it again. But yeah, no. So okay, so that was the thing, was you were finding these videos and you're like, you know what, I can put some riffs to these videos and make them a little even more funnier than they already are.
Yeah. Saw people do it pretty successfully, and I was like, you know what, like, that'll be fun. And like, if people see it, cool. If people don't see it, cool. But you know, if people see it, people see me, hopefully find the band. And you know, it's a win-win situation for everybody. And yeah, like, got a handful of videos with a few million views now, and crazy. And yeah, I've had people like at work like, hey, are you the guy from the I had somebody like, so I'm sure this happens to you guys, you know, you're going to shows, local shows, and someone's coming up to you like, oh dude, you know, fucking your band's sick. So I'm at a show and like someone's like kind of doing the thing where like they're looking at you like, are you the guy from the thing? Like they're saying that to themselves, like,
right.
Or they walk up to you and you're kind of like, are you going to walk up to me? Should I stop walking?
Yeah.
We can do this. A guy walks up to me and I'm like, I'm getting ready to like, oh, cool. Like, this might be like a Abiotic fan. He's like, dude, are you fucking cheese sandwich guy? Like, yeah, dude, I'm the cheese sandwich guy. I've been playing in the band. I've been in the same band for fucking 12 years, and I'm
what you're known for. Yeah.
I'll take
hey, but in that
weird
conversation, you're like, yeah, dude, I am,
Yeah.
but check out my band, Abiotic, dude.
Yeah. So, you know, it's honestly been cool because, like, you know, you were mentioning you've got kids and stuff, so I'm sure you can relate to like time dedicated to music being fewer and further between than it used to be. So
lots of kids.
Yeah. so being able to sit down and like, all right, cool. I've got like an hour to play. I can like dick around and jam and maybe track a riff or two, which I do also, but I can also like, cool, I'm going to like be more creative and try and write a thing to this. I'm going to try and write to like this guy playing drums to this fucking guy screaming, or I'm going to try and like, you know, write a section that might work with like, there's like this weed PSA that was like the most recent one that I did that I think was pretty funny. And then now like I've got people just like sending me a fuck ton of videos like every single day. and it's cool. Like keeps the creative juices flowing. It's, you know, especially like I always have fun trying to write just to drums. Like you write a sick drum part, I'm gonna do my thing on this. I don't have to figure out
To sick drum.
how to sick drum, how to write sick drum in my DAW guitar player drums, which are always awful. And yeah, it's been a good time.
Oh yeah.
Hear me, by the way? I had to reconnect.
He's back.
You're having shitty problems with your
Professor.
technology too tonight?
If you guys can hear me, we're good. Okay.
Yeah, I got you.
Do you okay,
Yes.
so do you like hear metal now in like everyday life walking around? Just like randomly like orchestrating shit to death
Right?
metal?
Kinda. I try and find something that's got somebody screaming because that's like really the only context where it makes sense for the most part.
I'm just thinking about like how Spastic Inc. used to do that with like an
Oh.
entire fucking 2-minute cartoon, or
Yeah.
Right.
you know, like that was like the zenith of that fucking art form. I feel like
100%. I downloaded that video on LimeWire.
the whatever hair, something
A
hair,
wild hair.
a
It
wild
was
hair.
it was a scene from Bambi, dude. It's like
Yeah.
Ron Zarzambek, like guy's
yeah.
a guitar player, and yeah, he just does like someone like commented that on a couple of my videos. It's like, oh, you know, this sounds like, you know, the dude from Spastic Inc. And I was like, absolutely not. Like, stop. Like playing some death metal riffs and I'm doing some chugs. Like this guy is hitting every note that is being spoken.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, like the pitch.
Yeah, like every pitch, like he's hitting. It's not in time. Like I try and just line everything up to a click and hope everything works. Like that shit is just absolutely insane.
There's also the Serial Mouse off of the album after that.
I love that one.
Yep.
That's scored to a scene in
Charlotte's
Charlotte's
Web.
Web.
Yeah,
Yep.
dude, that one is insane. Yeah.
Yeah, Ron's a fucking genius, dude.
He's a genius. I love that band.
It's definitely on like the brink of almost not making sense if you're not watching along to the video it comes from, but it like still does make just enough sense as its own thing. But if you don't know what it comes from and you know the music first and then you watch the video, that's what'll like truly blow your mind, because you've like already kind of like made sense of it. Like, I don't really get why they came up with this, but okay, I get it. But you don't really until you see it. You're like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Well, they have like songs that are like not to the soundtrack, you know, like, you know, Eighths is Enough and stuff that are like their own kind of tunes, and then they like have those ones that are to the time code, right? And all that.
Yeah.
God, the band is so good.
It's wild.
Yeah, dude. It's crazy how the Bambi one, you guys, Wild Hair, there's a track of his guitar that is just the dialogue from that scene as well.
Yeah, it's out of control.
It's out of control, dude.
It's just, yeah, lead line of the dialogue of the whole scene.
But it's in control though, is the thing.
Oh, Ian's got a question for you. Which drummer you've played with has brought out the best in your playing creativity, help you advance quicker, maybe?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would probably say, shit, we play with a few drummers. I'd probably say it's a mix of Tony, our drummer now, because he's absolutely incredible and has really helped push the way I think about songs and writing songs. And then the last guy who drummed for us before we, you know, went on our hiatus or whatever, a guy named Matt Palazzo.
Oh, of course.
He was fucking awesome. He was another guy that we just like kind of found. He was
he's a shredder for sure, dude.
He was in a local band. We just like, someone knows him and we're looking for a drummer. I'm gonna hit him up. He's got a cover on YouTube of a couple of our songs. We did a tour with him. He just made it look effortless and was awesome. And then he, you know, went on to play with like Zenith Passage. He still plays in Igian, I think. Mm-hmm. And then he was playing, I don't know if he still does. I haven't seen him with them in a little while. I'm not really sure, but Alluvial, he was playing with them for a little while too.
Yeah, dude. I actually played. I opened for his first show with the Zenith Passage.
Oh,
I
sick.
was playing with another band called Transcend the Realm, and yeah, so he did Abiotic before joining Zenith.
Yep.
Just to get that right. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, man. I saw him again with Zenith like earlier this year in May, a little 5 show thing that the Zenith jumped on. And it was just incredible watching him play those songs.
So
He's
good.
single footing like 250
Yeah.
BPM blast beat section.
Yeah, I saw him with Zenith. It was great. I talked to him. Also.
Nobody does that anymore, but
Nope.
he just went for it. It was so sick.
Yeah, he told me, he's like, I make it a point to make it look like it's not hard. Like I practice very hard to make it like, to not make it look like I'm straining and not strain while I'm doing this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, and like the nicest dude, like just a really awesome guy.
Yeah. I think he's still doing Aegean. We were just talking about him. One of my bands had a meeting the other day. We were like watching old Aegean videos and then
I love
going
that.
down the rabbit hole of what because Matt kind of took that band over as far as we know and writes for all this stuff now. So yeah, so you could follow him doing that still. And he's filled in for Decrepit and stuff too. So
Oh, that's right. Yeah. He was drumming for. He like hopped on a tour like last minute for them,
and then he did a double set one night with I think he played the Black Dahlia set as well as Decrepit set.
fucking.
And then
bomb.
Zenith jumped on the tour to replace Decrepit, and he just kept drumming for Zenith instead.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how you guys do that shit. Like,
Yeah, he's good as fuck. That's
I
rad.
barely remember songs that I wrote. You know what I mean? Like,
So you know of Decrepit Birth. Tell us about when you came across the unique leader shit, dude, because that's our shit. You know?
Yeah. So yeah, Decrepit Birth. I listened to. I forget when And Time Begins came out, but I heard that record, and then I heard.
What was that? What was that? 03?
came out in 2003.
Yeah.
03 it came out. Yeah.
So I didn't hear when it came, like right when it came out. I probably listened to like a couple of years later that someone was showing me like, oh, you like the band Death? Like this is a band right now that sounds like them. I was like, okay. And then I was like, wow, this is sick. And then I think it was Polarity that came out.
Maybe thinking of Diminishing. It sounds like Death.
Diminishing between
Time
Worlds
Begins
definitely
didn't
has
sound
to
like
Oh
do-
yeah. That's the one I'm thinking.
Diminishing came
Yeah,
out.
Time
2008.
Begins is the more brutal, techy, crazy shit.
January. Yeah.
Then I'm thinking Diminishing. The Diminishing Worlds is what it is, right?
Yeah. That was the
Yep.
one that it came out when we were on tour with Black Dahlia. Like in 2008 January, that's when it came out. It was like us and then Haiti. No, it was like 3 Inches of Blood and Hate Eternal and then Black Dahlia. That was insane.
That wasn't like a Decibel tour, was it? Or like one of those?
No, maybe that kind of sounds right. I don't know.
Or like Metal Alliance or something.
Yeah.
It was.
Joel would know. You don't have Joel, dude. Joel like knows those.
I know he chimed
Joel,
in.
if you're in the chat,
he chimed in from the chat while he was on the plane.
yeah.
We toured with Exhumed and Dying Fetus in 2013, and that was like the first time I had heard Exhumed. I was like,
Fuck yeah, dude.
fuck, this is great, and that's where I met Mike.
So are you familiar with Unique Leader Records though? Like the stuff?
Yeah.
So
She's a
what about like Spawn of Possession? Are you down with Spawn?
Oh,
of Possession?
absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Like
That's what's up.
Christian is the fucking man, dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, him and obviously like Spawn and Necrophagus, like that's the beacon of tech death, and everyone's just trying to copy that from fucking however long ago it is now, 20 years ago almost.
Yeah, it was pretty wild when that shit was popping up back in the day, dude.
Yeah.
I always is tech death still considered that though? Like, because when you say the words tech death, do people
I think it's
Spawn and Necro still?
I think and then like you can go ahead.
Oh, I would just say, it's considered a little more old school, but that is like kind of an old school tech death, and then there's newer school, but it's still tech. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'd say so.
Oh, Ian with the theory and practice. Yeah, dude, I know. I agree with you, dude. Theory and practice is just as high as everybody else that we talk about, but I don't know why,
Yeah.
but not a lot of people know about that record, dude. Colonizing the Sun.
Yep.
Super solid record. If you're into that
So
early
sick.
tech death scene, that is a gem that for some reason is
I
not
would go.
as much on the radar.
I would go with Third Eye Function, the first record, the debut.
Mm,
I've always liked that one more than Colonizing. So
all
that's just
right.
me being super OG. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You
dude,
can
the
be a
first
super
one, bro.
OG.
We Joel has talked to a couple of the guys, and that we really want to get them
I'd
on.
love to talk to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt, dude. Yeah, that's funny that like
He was
they've been
stabbing.
on our-
We've been trying to get stabbing on for like months.
Yeah, what up, stabbing? I've fucking messaged to you guys 2 different ways. We'd
No,
love to
they're-
have you on, guys
they're
and
new.
girls. Excuse me.
Their new record is so sick. Yeah,
I
listen to
know.
that
We'd
shit.
love to have them on
they're
and talk
sick.
to them about it. So, all our listeners too, if you're in contact with stabbing, tell them that Cali Death Podcast is looking to talk to them.
I have a few female students at School of Rock that I've been like, you got to hear this band stabbing because it's because they're like vocal students, like vocal guitar students, and I'm just like, one of
And
them's
then-
like learning how to sing like Spirit Box and Lorna Shore stuff, and I was just like, all right, time is ripe. You got to check out what else is going down.
What's her name again?
From Lorna, or oh, you mean
No,
from
from
Stabbing?
stabbing. Yeah.
Bridget is
Bridget, yeah.
vocalist, and Meryl plays bass.
So brutal, Bridget. And yeah, dude, they're fucking sick.
Yeah, Bridget's already one of the goats,
Brutal
dude. It's
Bridget.
insane. Yeah, that record, it's like, I mean, Consume the Forsaken, And Time Begins, Chapters of Repugnance. I feel like Extirpated Mortal Process, is that the name? It's going to be mentioned alongside those records
Oh,
in
Right,
years to
dude.
come.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
Big things
definitely
coming.
agree. All right, so let's get back on to so you got plans for 2023. I mean, really, what else do we talk about? Like, so the plan, like, that's what I want to talk about. Do you have any ideas? Because I enjoyed you explaining the concepts on the album and how they're very unique in the metal genre. For me, I really do like guys who go outside of the box. I got over gore at 19, you know. I like guys that really write about shit that they're interested in and all that. So are you going to move forward with that Japanese, influence stuff, or was it just for this one record?
I think it was just for this one record as far as like the music and aesthetic. I want to experiment some more with different things like that. Different, like, instruments, again, just instruments that you wouldn't normally hear in a band like ours. And then from like a lyrical perspective, still keep it very like grounded in that like relatable and like relevant, and especially like with everything that's been going on over the last few years, and more so like I guess more so like from just advocating like mental health stuff, and like shout out to Trevor, right? So trying to do what we can there, because we all struggle with it, right, in some form or fashion, and
Sure.
I'm happy to say that us in the band do, and just having a band like ours like talk about things like that, and just say like, hey, it's okay to feel the shitty feelings, and have those relatable lyrics. I think, yeah, again, it's just something that helping like the greater good, like doing what we can with our platform, which we try and do as much as we can. And yeah, just making it meaningful for me too. You know what I mean? Like I said, not knocking any of the bands that still do like what we were doing before. But yeah, I just wanted it to be more relatable, because that's like lately what hits me when I listen to music and a vocalist and lyrics and stuff.
I say it so much, dude, but it's art first, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I know we all talk about, it's really cool when you sign with a big label like Metal Blade, and all these all these doors seem to open up for you for, progressing in a certain fashion, but really it's the art first, dude. So it doesn't matter about anybody else in the beginning. It's just about what you want to do, and what you want to talk about. And I also think that expression through art is a great therapy. So, talking about the mental health thing, it's a very beneficial way to at least blow off some steam through art. I mean, obviously, if it's serious, you should talk to somebody, get some, get some perspective from a therapist and all that kind of shit. But if you're just in a point where it's like, yeah, dude, I have the existential angst that every other human on this planet has, and I have this built up in me, and I need to get it out in a certain way. Sometimes you don't need the therapy. You just need to go out and blow it off through expression, creativity, and art, or getting on stage, or all these different ways that you could just blow off the normal steam. But yeah, obviously, if you have mental health situation in your life where it's more so than the average human, seek other avenues to help you get through it.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I totally think that writing about mental health through art, it totally makes sense, because art is there for us to work on our mental health in the first place. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that. And like, I found that more as like I started to be more introspective about that stuff, and not like, the fucking Bill Burr joke where it's like, then push it down, and fucking like not want to think about it or talk about it or whatever. And that's like what resonated with me, with bands I listen to, and lyrics and whatever. And like that, it's what I pull from melodies and chord progressions, and kind of like the same way. So I've like, since we took this shift, I've kind of been participating more in writing the lyrics, and yeah, I'm stoked to be able to do that, and have that outlet that hopefully helps somebody through something,
Hell yeah.
I think having a solid crew, having an outlet to be creative, and enough people in your life to where you can give love and accept love, that's the basis of harnessing the fact that we bleeped into this existence, and we're trying to fucking just white knuckle the handle as we're being pulled through it, and not let go, because that's really how life feels sometimes. And I think that that's why metalheads are mostly centered and cool people, because we have those, we have the collective, we have the community, we have the outlet, and all that shit is built into this. And I think that's why there's so much love in the metal community, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I still think there's a lot of stigma behind it, though. which, I think it's definitely come a long way, but I still think there's a lot of like,
there's too many of us, dude. Of course there's going to be that percentage of snakes that are going to eventually infiltrate our boundaries, It's going to happen, dude. It's always going to happen, but that's part of that existential angst that I was talking about, that no matter what situation you're in life, you're always going to eventually figure out that there are shitty humans no matter where you look.
Yeah.
But it's all about who you surround yourself with, and how those people, and yourself included, can elevate each other.
Yeah.
And stick together. And that's what I think that the core of all of this shit, why I'm sitting here talking on a microphone right now, that is the reason why this is all happening. What up? That really is.
I thought we were getting played off, dude.
Hey, dude, I get played off pretty much every week on this motherfucker.
So, not to shift gears too dramatically, but back to the viral videos, I wanted to ask, what happens when you get 3 million views on a video, or however many million? Does Instagram just start paying you, or
do you just do you buy a house immediately? What do you do?
like, do you have to,
You can monetize it in the same way that, like, you can monetize, YouTube and like whatever. It definitely doesn't pay out like YouTube would or anything. But yeah, I mean, make a little bit of change. It's nothing crazy. It's absolutely nothing crazy. But yeah, it's just has helped with reaching more people with my playing, like my Ian says 3 to 5 cents per 1,000 views. I have to do that math. I don't know if that's right or not. Maybe you might be right. But
it'll be like $50 a million views.
$50 a million.
3 zeros, add 3 zeros.
Did I do it right?
Yes.
think I did it.
But I don't know. I mean,
I fucking did math C I failed algebra my senior year, dude, and I got it before the professor, dude.
What do you mean before?
Yeah, okay. I don't know. I'm making a fantasy that I raced you, dude. I raced you in math right there, dude.
Okay.
He did the quick math and beat you.
Joseph's like, you didn't race shit, dude. I just watched you fucking stumble down the fucking raceway and just said, oh, dude, he made it to the finish line.
I did crunch some numbers today for merch sales and how much we'd have to set prices for our shirts that we're going to make. So my brain is a little turned on right now mathematically. So
there you go.
Could have, if someone had told me to crunch that number, I might have been able to.
I think I did it right, because it was 5 cents per 1,000 times 1,000.
So it's like it's one of those things where it's not like gonna quit my job or whatever, but it's just like it's not like, oh, this is gonna replace another revenue stream. It's just like it's gonna strengthen the others and create its own a little bit, add another kind of node in this network that together is kind of strengthening, and overall just kind of raise what do they call it, presence or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. It's just it's supplemental. It's we definitely do better in merch than I would be doing on some videos. But
I was gonna say it's no different than being signed to a label where you get the smallest cut as the artist, as the content creator, you know.
Yeah, it's silly.
Well, I mean, so like looking at ways to be a professional guitar player, I think it's kind of important to know like what those realities are. And I've heard that there are opportunities, and you look at people like Nick Nocturnal and Jared Dines, and you're like, okay, that's like maybe something to aspire to. And it looks like, you know, you can have fun, a lot of fun making videos and playing guitar. And maybe that's, you know, something to be taken seriously artistically as well. So,
Oh wait, Ian's saying $2 to $3, not 2 cents, 3
On
cents,
YouTube,
5
he
cents.
says. Oh yeah, on YouTube, I think he says $2 per 1,000 views on,
Okay.
which is harder to do.
that
Yeah,
means
if you
that
don't- You don't say fuck. You don't talk about COVID. You don't fucking do all this shit. As soon as you say all that shit, you're demonetized.
that means that KC's video has made about $50 for Sick Drummer.
I've never made a penny from music.
I mean, for Sick Drummer, the channel that hosts the video.
Yeah, you made Ian $50, dude.
Yeah,
Just I don't even know if that really is true.
know.
but
that was probably about his time for filming you that day. Yeah.
yeah.
For sure. Well, yeah, just thanks. That's just just a real question from an aspiring. I want to do more content and have fun in the studio. On Twitch live is another option and all that stuff. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, just to be able to play guitar and have people watch you and not have to do it from the road. I mean, obviously the live experience is, you know, the dream, but seems like a very cool thing you're getting into right now.
Thanks, man. Yeah, and it's also like people that probably normally wouldn't have seen my playing either, which also helps, like, you know, with my endorsers too, which is like, hey, you know, look at you know, I play Strandberg guitars. Like, you know, would 3 million people have seen me playing Strandberg if I did some sweep arpeggios instead?
And I noticed you're playing a bunch of different Strandbergs in your videos. How many guitars do you have?
I've got 2 from them right now, which are the ones I
Okay.
kind of go back and forth on. I started working with them this year. Huge shout out to the Strandberg.
Nice, dude. Yeah.
They're so sick. I haven't played a better guitar, and I thought I wasn't gonna vibe with them because the necks are all strange. If you've ever tried one, they've got like asymmetrical necks and stuff, and it's just my jam. I know it's not everybody's jam, but it's 100% my jam, and they're so fucking light too. Like this string that I can just like fucking play catch with in one hand. It's insane.
So sick.
Oh yeah. I just, on the topic of guitars, going to give it a shout out to Ricky Avocado. I don't think he's in the chat tonight, but he's been working at Fender Factory in Corona, and today he just started working. Starts today on the Jackson side of the factory. So now he's building these new Jackson guitars that they're putting out. And so shout out.
Shout out to him. Double shout out, because isn't he the first purchaser of a Cali Death Podcast logo shirt?
Was he the first? I mean,
I don't know. Didn't he go with you? Who went with you to get him in Tijuana?
That's true. Yeah, he got the first ever Cali Death shirt because he came to Tijuana with me to pick him up. And we're not going back to Tijuana.
Good.
Because that shit, I mean, it was cheaper to get shirts there,
funny.
but it's not worth the fucking border hassle. But
totally.
Just the time spent there, not the actual border. But yeah, shout out Ricky.
Shout out Ricky.
Coming up,
calling me out when I look like I'm sleeping. I actually wasn't sleeping at all during that picture that everybody saw. Maybe I'll put myself to sleep with this one though.
Hell yeah.
Yes,
well, it must be getting a little late over there in Florida. No, you're in the East Coast, but north now.
We could wrap this one up if we want. But I had a great time for sure. This was great.
Oh yeah, totally. Super fun. Yeah.
Hell yeah. I did too, guys. Thanks again for having me on. I haven't done the podcast thing since I was doing mine. Like I was telling you guys earlier, like
can people find episodes of that still?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Should still be some stuff on Twitch. It's the Big Shred podcast. I just
that's right. Yeah.
Nice.
I've definitely heard of that.
Yeah.
Cool. There's I interviewed Trevor, so there's a like awesome interview with Trevor on there.
Oh, cool. Fuck yeah.
Killer.
So much fun doing.
I know.
Man, that's cool.
We
man.
cherish our episode with him as well, dude. That guy was a great friend to all of us. A really good human being, and no matter who I had talked to that had met him, had the same exact experience with him. So you just know how genuine that dude was.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, loved him to death, dude.
Yeah. I can't say anything better than that. So I would just say absolutely.
Cheers, rock on, and remember all your fallen heroes, people, because he's a fallen hero for sure, dude. And he's right on that list. So just never forget. And you can't just listen to fucking Black Dahlia.
And shout out for Black Dahlia playing live again and keeping it going.
Yeah, I actually really okay, let's just talk about that for a second, because there's always that quick reaction from fans like, oh, like what's happening with Pantera right now. I don't have necessarily an opinion about what's going on with Pantera, because there are new members and all that, and I'm just like, it's kind of weird. Even though I've never seen Pantera, I'd love to see those songs played live, but still, whatever. Anyways, with the way that Black Dahlia handled it and keeping it within the bubble per se, I actually fully back that, and that just makes me sound like I'm talking shit about the Pantera thing too, which I'm not necessarily, but I'm sorry. I listened to Pantera for a very long time, and it didn't really excite me, but I'm not like one of those guys that was rubbed the wrong way by it either, but either way, go for it.
My one comment was, so Metallica announced their tour and it had Pantera on the first night and Five Finger Death Punch on the second night. So my thought is, if you didn't like the Pantera reunion announcement, then you have to buy your tickets to go see Five Finger Death Punch opening for Metallica. You're not allowed to buy your ticket for the Pantera night.
Yeah.
And I just want to shout out, have you worn the orange, the orange? What the fuck am I saying? The purple Gorod hoodie on the pod before? Because I don't know if I've ever.
I'm not wearing a hoodie. Actually, it is a hoodie.
It's not a hoodie.
But it's a shirt over another hoodie that I wore last week. But it's like it's the same color. And yes, this is the Gorod shirt that I bought from Gorod at Maryland Death Fest when we played with them. Whatever year we played with them. I don't know.
That's sick.
07, 08?
2007.
That record Leading Vision is so sick. And they just announced a new record today called The Orb.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, to Gorod.
I had a great time with those guys. It's fun is hanging out with people and having minimal language towards each other. We had a big language barrier, but what we vibed on was music and partying, dude. Like it really was that, dude. Yeah, I also vibed on their bass player because he was shoeless on stage. What up?
Yeah, that guy's sick. I gave him a demo of my band when we played with them. Well, fuck, guys. It's been good times.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right. Let's wrap it up, guys.
Listen to Abiotic. Listen to the new record. Dude. Listen to the singles.
Hit up
the re-release.
What was the Instagram? If anybody wants to see all those videos, if they're just listeners, what was it?
So Abiotic John is my handle. You can check
ABIOTIC.
Yep. JOHN, and then Abiotic Band. If you want to just peep the band and kind of just skip over me, which is fine. Check us out. Indie merch, Night Shift for some of the stuff from Artisan Era. got vinyl, so those two there, and a bunch of other cool shit. So
Nice, dude.
Right on.
And also for us, battleforgecoffee.com. Get over there. We all drink coffee. Why not?
Oh, nice.
Why
Good
not
job.
drink fucking Cali Death coffee, dude?
Yes.
And
We will not be here next week. Actually, we'll be here.
we are off.
Yes.
Oh, you looked at it. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're off next week, but we'll be
Christmas.
here right after Christmas.
Yes.
So happy holidays to all of you, and have a rad time. Man, that's weird. We've made it to the end of the year where we've taken these Thanksgiving week and this week off. It feels weird, like, oh shit, there's no pod next week. It just makes me all right, whatever.